Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the Citroen Mehari. Today I'm going to try to make a decision about this chassis because that's turning out to be quite hard for me to do. At the moment I have two possibilities. One is to use the current chassis, fix up whatever needs to be fixed. The other solution would be to buy a galvanized chassis and put that on. That will be around €1,000. The Citroen Mehari has really risen in prices for the last few years. So if I'm going to sell this car in the future, then maybe the galvanized solution would be the best, because what you always are worried about when buying Citroen A models is the chassis. And even though it might be fine, I think for a lot of people, at least, a original chassis is a red flag, especially when it comes from a country like mine. So that's a good reason why I should choose the galvanized chassis. On the other hand, remember, I am working on 8 projects at the moment, I think. They all need parts. They all need to have money spent on them. And €1,000 on a chassis is a lot of money. So in that regard, it would be better to fix what I have, especially if I end up keeping this car for myself, because I don't mind that it's an old chassis, not at all. Some even say that the older chassis are better than the new ones because they are thicker in the material. So it's difficult for me to decide, really difficult. But today I'm going to try to investigate it a bit more to see, is it okay? To be honest, I hope to find something that just blows it off the table, and then I can decide really easy. Either finding some bad rust or not finding anything, because then I'm just going to keep this. What I hope to do today is to use a borescope to check inside of here, because as far as I know, this front end is the problematic area on the chassis. Right around the front axle is where they tend to break, and they actually do that quite often. So I'm going to try with the borescope to watch to see if I can see anything. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to cut a big hole in the top plate and then check. If it's all right, then I can just weld it back on. So that will be the plan for today. And at some point we need to talk about the suspension on the Citroen Mehari and 2CVs and all that, because with everything off, it's easier to see how it all works. And it's really, really a clever design and a lot of fun. So let's try with the borescope. Unfortunately, my borescope is a very old one and the resolution is not very good, but it's okay. There you are. say hello to yourself. Anyway, I'm gonna try to look down this hole and see if I can see anything. What is instantly noticeable is that there's a lot of rust treatment down here, a lot of oily stuff, but it's really difficult to see the overall condition. There are some strengthening bars going around this area, and a tube that goes in like here. That is the areas that I really would like to check. But you know what? This is not going to tell me anything. So what I want to do now is to cut a big piece of the metal out and then take a proper look down there. I'm not going to go to the edges because that will mean I will have to fold up this edge. I'm just going to go to here, then I can weld it all back together either at the line or maybe fine cut it if I need to do that. I don't think it will matter much, but I'm going to make a line and then cut it. So I'm getting ready now to take the plate off. There was a couple of spot welds. They were difficult to find, so I misjudged some of them. So I got some holes that I need to fix, or maybe just replace the entire top plate. Let's see what it looks like. First thing is I have accidentally cut slightly into this. So that will have to be fixed, because that's a stupid mistake actually. But not the end of the world, it just needs to be welded up. So that will need to be done. But other than that, it looks like a brand new chassis down here. Really well protected and all. This chassis is really nice. This is really, really looking nice. So other than the fact that I cut slightly into that, and also over here, which I need to fix, I need to cut the hole bigger now and then fix that up and then fix the hole afterwards. This is not bad. So right now it really seems as a waste of money to chuck another chassis at this one, because it seems to be pretty good, actually surprisingly good down here. There is some rust on the rear chassis leg that is just surface pretty much, but I would like to fix that. But I haven't found anything worrying up here at least. And also look at it this way. This is a Citroen Mehari. It's an open car. You can get a cloth roof for it if you want. I don't have that, but you can get it, of course. You can also get a hard top. But chances are that this Mehari will never see salts, and most likely not a lot of rain either. I think this car is going to live a life in a garage, maybe mine, maybe another one's, and only be used as for fun rides in the sun, because that's what it's all about pretty much. It's a beach buggy in a way. So even though there of course is a bit of rust in this chassis, I think it will be able to last for a long, long, long time. And yeah, a new chassis is pretty cheap, but on the other hand, why buy a newly produced galvanized chassis, which is rather hard on the environment, if you have something that is savable? And I think this is at the moment. I started out saying that I was hoping to find some kind of smoking gun that could make the decision for me. And really, I think I was hoping to find really bad rust down here, because that would make the decision really easy. I didn't. So still a bit undecided, but seriously, I don't have a lot of experience opening up 2CV chassis like this, but this looks brand new. I can't see any issues at all. I think this will just need to be touched up, treated, painted, and then it would be good to go. Another thing that is really nice about that is I don't have to mess with taking off the axles and all that, because it tends to be a problem and you need a lot of hardware. I don't have to take the suspension off either, because it is all right. Sometimes you have to weld in a new front piece in the suspension unit, but it seems to be okay on this one. So it will actually save me a lot of work, which I am kind of sad of, because I really like this kind of work. But on the other hand, it will save me a lot of money, and that is nice. So that's great news. I'm going to cut this hole slightly bigger now, because I messed up and cut into something that I shouldn't have done, and I will have to do something about that now. So I cut the hole slightly larger now, so I can see the damage I made from being a bit too careless. It's not at all the end of the world, but I'm going to grind this up and then weld it back together. And then also I drill through a couple of places when I drilled out the spot welds. I would like to fix those holes up as well. So firstly, I'm going to clean those up and weld them. Then when all is finished, I will have to buy another plate to fit here, because now the old one will no longer fit, because the hole got bigger than that. So I'm going to have to buy another one. I don't have any in stock at the moment, and it's not something I can get close. This is some thin stuff. And for the holes up here, I'm going to use a big brass nut and put that under the hole, because that won't be possible to weld to, but I will be able to make a pool of the molten metal on top of it and then close up the gap, I hope. And then I'm going to try to clean it all up. So all my damage is now welded up and cleaned up, and all I need to do up here really is to buy a bigger metal plate that I can weld in. That will not be today because I don't have the plate, and also I would really like to do a lot of rust protection in here and spray whatever I can, especially on the inside of this rail. There are no rust, but it's pretty dry because it's a difficult place to get at, so I'm gonna rust treat that. But other than that, it's pretty good, this. I do believe that this chassis is perfectly safe. Please comment if you know of an area that I should check other than this. Of course, I have checked everything all around on the visual side. On the outside, there are some small things that needs fixing, but nothing major. So I think it would be okay to reuse this. Yeah, the galvanized would be way more nice. It would be maybe worth more in case of a sale, because people didn't have to worry about anything. But on the other hand, I think an original Mehari is also something worth preserving. And to say that my Mehari is from, I can't remember, 77 or something, and with an original chassis is also kind of cool, I think. So I would like to save this. While working on this, I noticed that the suspension pot up here got some damage and some rust, and the bushing is completely gone. So I have decided that it would be wise to take them off, change the rubbers and the connections. They are rather difficult to get off, but also I would like to change the kingpin and maybe weld a new cap into the cylinder, into the suspension cylinder if needed. I can't really figure that. I can't really see if it's necessary just yet, but I will check that out. But another thing, it will make it possible to clean and paint the chassis underneath the suspension unit. I don't think I'm going to take the axles off. I haven't really decided, because I can go ahead and paint it with it still in place. I think I'm just going to leave them in place, but haven't really decided. But this seems to be good enough for now. I won't do anything else today, but soon I will weld in this plate and start cleaning up the chassis. And then I will actually fit the engine to the chassis, because it's a perfect test bench for testing if the engine works. But that will be later. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.